Just want to talk tonight about a sad story of a loss of a life on a road in Collie. One of many that possibly wouldn't have been lost if our roads were in a condition that were fit for purpose and you know, a condition that they should really be in. Now, this loss of life was on the Collie-Preston road. The Collie-Preston road is a frequently used road in the Shire of Collie and the Shire of Donnybrook, Bailing Up area. It goes from the Preston Valley through Mummalup and up the hill to Collie. Now, it's a beautiful road. I've driven it a few times over the last few months. I mean, it snakes up the hill and past Glenmervyn Dam and through beautiful valleys and forests. But the road's narrow and it's winding, and it's really completely unfit for the community to be using. And there was even roads that were far worse, which I was very surprised about. Now, there's no debate about the need to upgrade the road. The Labor government themselves committed to doing that in 2018. Part of those upgrades have been completed, so I commend the government for the work they have done on them roads. However, a significant stretch remains untouched. And sadly, you know, people have been having accidents and there's been loss of lives. So now I've been told that that stretch of road has not been upgraded. It's the part, like they've done two stages, I think one in 2019 and one in 2022, from back in 2018 when they said they were going to do it. So some of it has been done, but this stretch of road that hasn't been done has been responsible for many near misses, accidents and loss of life. Now, I asked a question just today and heard there have been 4 more accidents on the road since that upgrade taking place. Now, it's terrible. When we were talking about earlier today, I didn't get to make a contribution about priorities and stuff, and this is one of the things I think, you know, you could say that there's roads there that we know people are dying on, we know people are having accidents on, and we're prioritising other things, which I believe are probably not as important as this, because we always say one loss of life is too many. Now, coming back to a man who lost his life, from the beginning, what I was talking about, part of the story that really stuck with me is the story of his young family that lost their dad on that stretch of the dangerous road. Now, the white cross and flowers are still there at the roadside. Now, I got told the story that there's a school bus that travels along there every day with primary, you know, school-age kids, and yeah, it travels past that cross and the flowers, and on that school bus are primary school-age kids of the dad who's, you know, who died there. So it's his cross they're seeing as they're travelling on that road, and you know, this is what I was getting told by local people there that have contacted me and that I went and visited, that these kids find it very hard to heal when they drive past every day knowing they've heard that that road was responsible, you know, for the loss of their dad. Now, the kids are probably too young to understand that maybe that road could have been fixed and that, you know, their dad could still be with them. But I was talking to other people, all the people that were telling me the story. They're in the community. They tell me they believe their lives are not a priority for this WA Labor government, the roads and the different things that don't get done out in the regions. They feel like they're being left behind. Like, you know, it's not a full-on attack. It's saying that they feel like they're being left out. They feel like the city, you know, projects are being prioritised over their safety, when this road has been a major problem for a long time. There's been accidents, there's been, you know, injuries, and still now this gentleman who's lost his life and this family no longer has their father. This road is known, it's been identified as needing fixing. Yeah, so, I mean, I go back to when we're talking about prioritising, and you think about the racetrack. You know, it's come up all again today when we're saying, what are we talking about the racetrack? We talk about that because when we were well, I didn't talk about that bill today, but it was being discussed about priorities, and I think I did have a note here that I was going to refer to when the honourable member was talking for the government, and it said, you know, that the government says it can invest in things like racetracks and manage the budget it needs. Well, for me, I don't think you really can invest in a racetrack and saying you're managing the budget when we've got roads that we know people are dying on, that a father has left behind children that have to drive past his cross every day on a school bus on that same road that hasn't been fixed. So I think when we start talking about priorities, and the racetrack's one of them, and people have all their own priorities. And again, that's just for me, my priority wouldn't be a racetrack, it would be fixing roads that we know are costing lives. Now, I got a few minutes left. I actually was looking up some statistics and it popped up. It was a contribution made by my friend here, the Honourable Julie Freeman, who sits beside me in this place on the 10th of September. This is from the corrected Hansard, and it quotes, you know, 132 West Australians have lost their lives on our roads in 2025. Let me say that again, 132 lives gone. That is 132 families shattered by grief. That 132 communities left reeling, and a road toll that continues to rise month after month with no end in sight. As of the end of July 2025, 100 West Australians had already lost their lives, the highest year-to-date toll in 18 years. This follows 188 deaths in 2024, with more than 61% occurring in regional areas, despite those communities making up a far smaller proportion of the population. Between 2020 and 2024, the toll was staggering, 842 deaths and 7,605 serious injuries. That is over 8,400 families forever changed. In regional WA, the fatality rate sits at 18.7 deaths per 100,000 people, compared with just 2.84% per 100,000 in Perth. Now, I thank the honourable member for that contribution she made, and I just think it's completely indefensible in my view. Again, it's in my opinion that we're spending money on things like a racetrack in the city when and this isn't the only one, I've spoken to other people that have had the same issues with their roads and accidents and near misses and deaths. And for me, I think, you know, again, with my last couple of minutes, I asked another question about whether it was a priority to fix this Collie-Preston road in this next financial year, and the answer I got was main roads expenditure for 26-27 will be finalised in the coming weeks. Well, I sure as heck hope that this is made a priority, that hopefully that some money's been allocated, because what I've seen in a letter that they were talking about, main roads had only contacted them for 27-28 to get some approval for some money for it. So do the government really know? Because the letter they got back saying that the main roads had only asked for 27-28. So I'm not really thinking that this is going to come about, but I surely hope it does. Thank you.